So I get a lot of questions about Meta account structure for one, how to scale and spend more money. Also two, for creative testing, what's the optimal structure? Should I be doing ABO, CBO? Should I be doing bid caps, cost caps? How many campaigns should I have? How many ads should I have per ad set? And while we focus more on the creative side and not as much on the media buying side, have the fortunate position where we just have access to like 100 accounts. A dozen of which maybe $1 million a month, and a bunch of those spending over 100 grand per month. So yeah, a nice perspective into a lot of accounts at scale. So I wanted to just break down the exact structure of 3 accounts that are spending over $1 million a month to give you a sense of how other people are setting up their accounts, and to also get across that like there's not just one answer. It's not like, hey, if you don't do this, you're not going to scale, or your business is going to crumble. But I think you'll see some themes here, and yeah, we'll just kind of get into it and you can kind of see. So this account, I'm doing this one first because it's insane. This business started mid 2025 and they spent $3 million in a single month last year, or last month they spent $3 million. So they went from spending $0 to $3 million a month in like 6 months, 8 months. Definitely the fastest ramp I've seen. And they're not like a business who was funded with like, $50 million or something. So CBO or ABO, they are doing CBO. So that's campaign budget optimization. You set budget campaign level, and then Meta's kind of distribute that budget between all of your ad sets kind of itself. I see a lot of debate on this on Twitter like every few months. But yeah, this one ramped very aggressively with CBO. Bid structure. So they actually started with bid caps, and I saw bid caps took them to about like 500,000 a month in spend pretty quickly. But I see this almost every time with bid caps, where at a certain point, like they just stop spending and you get screwed because all of a sudden your daily spend goes to like, $100 a day. And so, so they switched to cost caps, and they're pretty stable at very significant scale. I think you'll see that as a trend in this video. So yeah, if you're doing bid caps, I would just caution you that pretty much everyone I see do bid caps eventually switches to cost caps, essentially. The other thing that's interesting with this account is they set their budgets quite a bit higher than their actual spend. So they might set at the campaign level like a 30 grand per day budget, but Meta's only spending maybe 10, 15 grand per day in that campaign. So their cost caps are kind of just set at that level where Meta's not going to spend the full budget. If they raise their cost caps, Meta might spend the full 30K, but they have it kind of constricted to where it's, closer to their target. So that's another thing we'll see. Some people set their budgets and Meta spends exactly what their budget is, and it's kind of at that equilibrium, whereas other accounts I see, they kind of have a really inflated daily budget, and Meta spends maybe 50% of that because of the cost caps are restricting it a little bit. Ad set structure. So they have an interesting structure. They have multiple ad sets per campaign, but only one concept per ad set, and there might be a couple variations. Usually it was 2 to 4 variations per concept in that ad set. So within an ad set, very similar ad concept with more of kind of iterations, versioning per ad set. So that was a little bit unique versus the other ones we'll see. And then as far as ads, they had a lot of ads, 700 plus, but yeah, very common we'll see is, a very small percentage drove the majority of their spend. This account, about 10% of their ads were driving about 80% of their spend, 80% of their sales in the account. So yeah, that is the structure of an account spending $3 million a month on Meta. Let's look at another one. They're spending $1 million a month pretty consistently. They were also doing CBO. I know some people, again, they swear by ABO. I'm not seeing that as much in our account. So take that for what it's worth. Bid structure, again, cost caps. I did not see this account doing bid caps. Previously, they were kind of always cost caps. You should know what they are, but if you don't, basically Meta you say, hey, I want to get a cost to acquire a customer of $50, and it'll basically average out over time. So Meta's not going to get you every sale at $50 or less, but it will basically average roughly to that. Budget management. So again, like I was talking in the last video, the other one was very inflated budgets and they'd only really spend 50% of that. This one was very much on target. So their cost caps were set at a level where Meta would actually spend their full budget. So you could make the argument, hey, maybe they should constrict their cost caps a little bit, inflate the budget up, but this is working for them. Ad set structure. Okay, so they had the most simple account structure of maybe any account I've ever seen. There's literally only one campaign that was spending this whole account, and is spending $1 million a month in this one campaign. No other campaign spending. 3 ad sets in the campaign, and yeah, about 10 to 30 ads each in those ad sets. And those were all unique, kind of different concepts, formats, visuals, messaging. So whereas the other one, they had a unique ad set for each concept, this account would put 10 to 30 very different concepts in each ad set. So again, different styles can work, different styles can scale. I liked this one just because it was extremely simple, which seems to be what Meta is going towards. Just fewer campaigns is better, fewer ad sets is better, etc. Ad-wise, they had far fewer ads than the other account, so about 10% of the ads as that $3 million a month account, and a little less kind of like at the fringes. So 30% of the ads drove 70% of the spend, whereas that last account was really only 10% of the ads driving all of the results. So a little bit more ads pushing forward versus being reliant on just a really couple winners in the account. Awesome. Last one was also spending about $1 million a month. And what do you think their structure was bidding wise? Yep, budget was CBO. Again, no really ABOs that I'm seeing on the 7-figure spenders at the moment. If it works for you, awesome. Keep doing it. Don't change just because of this video. But yeah, if it's already working. Bid structure. This one is actually highest volume. So a bit different where, you're not saying, hey, Meta, I want a $50, CAC. You're just saying, get me as many customers as you can, basically. So a little more aggressive on the scale side. The pro of this is you're going to spend your full budget. Con of this is, you might have a lot higher CAC. I would usually try this first, and then you can put in cost caps and try and get your CAC down. But yeah, I think just interesting to see just kind of that different things, again, work for different people. Some people cost caps work great and they can spend $1 million a month. Some people do highest volume and they can spend, $1 million a month. Yeah, budget management on target with highest volume, pretty much always going to be the case where if you say, hey, spend $10,000 a day, Meta, it's going to spend $10,000 a day. Okay, ad set structure. They only had one ad set per campaign and only were about 5 to 10 ads in each ad set. And again, these were like unique ads. It wasn't like only one concept with 4 different variations of that concept. So, and they had more like the last slide, it was just one campaign in the entire account. This one had probably like 10 campaigns, and they would have one for like different countries or different products. So a little bit more going on, not as simple structure of the last one, but just with their business, it made sense for that. So again, one campaign, one ad set per campaign, 5 to 10 ads per ad set. And then ad-wise, about 150. So again, we're seeing to spend $3 million a month, about 700 ads, $1 million a month on the last one, 75. This one, 150 ads. And again, we'll see these power laws where a small percent of your ads are going to drive the majority of your spend. Creatively, it's very much a hits business where most of the stuff we make is going to fail. A few of your ads are going to really like scale and take off in your account. I think the most we've ever seen spent on just like a single ad that we've made in an account is like $500,000 a month. So yeah, a good ad can like really friggin' take off. And so like, don't be discouraged if like 80% of the ads you make don't do much in the account, don't scale, don't get many purchases, have a high CAC, because you're really just trying to find the 10-20% of content that you make that's really gonna like transform things. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, if you're spending a couple $100,000 a month and you're trying to figure out, hey, how do I scale? What's the right ad account structure? Hopefully this gives you some ideas of just, what other people are doing. Cool. See you later.